of 5, you can play a game against IO. In fact, as we mentioned, Liquid beat their IO last time in that best of 3. With that said, Vici Game, we're going to learn from that and make some adjustments to make the IO gyro work this time.
And Liquid, they know that just because you beat the IO once, it's not like you've solved it. So I think when you come into the best of 1 or best of 5, you say, okay, let's do it again. Let's give them the IO. Like if those are the ways the first bans go, I'm comfortable with that hero being there. Our Chen is gone, so maybe it's going to be a little bit more difficult to try and run that game down so early. But as long as they have the right heroes around it, it's still doable.
Ember is still in the pool, the hero that they played versus the Wisp. Instead, they go with the TA. And this is already a completely different approach from Team Liquid, as most likely we won't see that Visage. Like Visage, yeah, you can play it on the sidelines, but first and foremost, I don't believe Miracle would play it.
Yeah.
He can, definitely, but I don't think so. And
seems unlikely.
It's always bad when you have him on the sideline. You don't get that experience, you don't hit your timings. And in that game, which they won versus Wisp Gyro, it was all about the timings, because they hit them before the Gyro hit his. As that matchup, Wisp Gyro versus Visage, if Visage is behind, like you lost, that's it.
I mean, birds are gone.
Birds are just gone.
And they did that. That was without the help of the Chen, but they had the Warlocks, of course. With that being gone, it's like, what hero can Crow really use to try and facilitate that early game pressure like that?
I do feel like
the edited sign.
Nice. I do feel like the same premise, playing fast against the IO gyro is good, because this gyro does take a few items to come online, and that's where if you can, get a faster paced carry, like we saw in the early series against VP, like the Weaver, that's to me like a better way to play against IO gyro than getting too greedy.
Do you think the Morph might have been worthy of the first phase?
I think so.
To pick?
Oh, to pick.
Like, do you think it would have been worth it for Liquid to try that out? Maybe they just don't feel like they have the flexibility on it, but I mean, that's been one of those counters versus the gyro that is so strong.
It's so strong. At the same time, they first picked TA, so the map would be very, very small for them if they had the Morph tool. I believe they need something a little bit active, a little bit more on the active side at least.
Yeah, for sure. There'd have to be some serious adjustments if they had the Morph instead.
I wonder if Liquid is going to ban out that Mars. As you have the Centaur plus Vici Gaming, they love their Mars.
And that was one of the reasons why I feel like Vici struggled last time with IOs. They had the Omni Knight in the offlane, which wasn't like a playmaker, doesn't have a stun. With IO Gyro, you really need to feel like an offlaner who can actually set up kills for your team.
Yeah,
and
just
the Mars
create those opportunities.
Such a great hero with Gyro too. You can always just set up for that relocate for the Gyro.
Yeah, if you get a couple heroes in the arena, they are just dead. Like, how on earth are you going to try and defend yourselves?
Also, it's really good versus the Centaur, can stampede out, so makes a lot of sense. Vici Gaming, they ban out the Grimstroke, just a hero, just another support that's really good versus Wisp, and the Gyrocopter. Soulbind works so well versus them.
Last time they went right back for the DY Disruptor, right? And that's a hero that's sort of okay with like the IO pairings. I think you still probably need more vision on top of that, or you just need really good wards. I mean, he can definitely set up for relocates. He puts pressure in terms of BKB timings, which can be a little frustrating for someone like a TA, especially if he gets a little bit behind. I'm curious if that'll just be there like, okay, we're just going to open with this, and then we'll see what else T-Liquid's going to bring. Does not do a lot in lane versus the Centaur, though.
So. There aren't many supports that do well versus Centaur right now. That's
but one
the issue.
of the supports, isn't Witch Doctor doing quite okay? And
it's pretty good. Yep.
Vici is one of the teams that actually has picked Witch Doctor in the game so far.
I like it with IO, too, because they heal, right? Double heal strat.
This is a good draw.
I just don't know if it gives them enough control. Like, the cask is not really a proper stun the same way.
There's something that's just not too greedy on that position 5.
The Disruptor is not really a proper stun either, but it's actual catch, whereas Disruptor stun is just like, Witch Doctor stun is like, maybe it'll do something, maybe it won't.
They played a lot of Disruptor. I wouldn't be too surprised that they pick it.
They play Bane a lot too, though. Like, DY has a great Bane. It's a classic IO Bane. It's okay versus the TA.
Disruptor versus Centaur is decent too, in that aspect, as you can glimpse the target stampeding out.
Yeah, that's true.
Rubik is alright versus Sand, but it's...
We saw Yang be very vocal just now, which makes me think that they're perhaps thinking and discussing their offlane pick. With the Mars and the Tide removed, are there any
I wouldn't want to
suspects?
pick yet because I don't know anything in the lane. Because both the 1 and the 5 are currently missing, you assume.
Yeah.
So I feel like Yang should be the last person being picked right now.
It could be a Darkseer +1 game. I mean, the Darkseer doesn't have that control, but if you get like a Nyx with it or Spirit Breaker, and then you get a mid with some kind of lockdown as well to give you some more control. Like
because the Ember's actually left in too. So they could do Darkseer Ember.
Yeah. Darkseer Ember with like some kind of 5 position with a stun that, well, like a 5 position on lane with Darkseer. Like I think Spirit Breakers comes to mind here. Not really something that DY plays, but
Ember would be really good for them.
Good call.
And
Indeed.
yeah, Darkseer.
I mean, they have no answer for it yet. At the same time, they haven't picked either of their heroes for the safe lane on Team
Oracle
Liquid,
is
really.
banned out, so it's already a decent Darkseer game. And that Spirit Breaker, by the way, remaining in the pool, I would love to see that guy.
Yeah. And this is where Liquid may just want to, well, they normally would want to just last pick Miracles here, but if there's a certain carry they want to lane against this Darkseer, they may need to pick it sooner.
Isn't one of the old counters to Darkseer on the lane CM, or is right now their Frostbite just too expensive? Because that was the thing, right? You Frostbite just the creep that has the Iron Shell on it.
Yeah, I think it's a little worse now.
Yeah.
I don't
It used
know.
to be.
Like they went to the AA, and instantly Vici Gaming obviously goes with the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah.
And I mean, this lane for AA is just constant feed unless they're trialing them. It's so horrible to have one of these heroes like Ancient Apparition Warlock versus Spirit Breaker and Darkseer, as you don't have any way of interrupting the
feels like-
charge or stopping them diving you.
And when you're playing AA, you really want a core with a stun, right?
Yeah, they
like with
need
some
that
element of
setup.
control. Like usually it's CK, Wraith King, or Sven.
Yeah.
But I mean, CK doesn't look that great versus this lineup, right? You're already into some decent AOE.
Even Wraith King doesn't sound amazing, but it
No.
may be one of the just best options left if you want to have that strong kill lane.
Yeah, you want something active. That's pretty much it. What you can do is put the Centaur on the offlane alone so that he can just creep skip and get farmed that way. And then you tri-lane with the Earth Spirit and the Ancient Apparition. Surprise the Baraturm and the Darkseer. That's also good because you won't feed that lane and they won't be able to rotate the Bara to mid with the Ion Shell.
Do you think
charge.
it's worth banning the Ember here? Like, we've seen the Ember TA so many times now, and we've seen the Ember get completely destroyed, but it is Ember with Ion Shell, and I feel like most teams have not allowed that to happen because the hero has gone off so many times.
I think it's a...
I think Ori's probably played the least. He's like the
Ori-
least memorable
Yeah.
Ember out of all the Embers we've
Has not played
seen.
Ember this entire tournament.
Yeah, he's not like
Not
an
just
Ember
Ori,
player.
Actually, entire Vici Gaming has not played Ember.
Yeah.
this entire
I feel like Ori's the kind of guy who's more likely to play some objective taking hero. Death Prophet,
Prophet,
Dragon
yeah.
Knight. Like,
Sniper perhaps in this game for them, but it's very greedy. It's decent versus TA and they have Centaur, so...
he's a big Storm player. It's
Yeah.
not a bad Storm game.
And they still ban it. That is just respect, right? To the like, you want a
the
hero
hero.
that can play aggressive, has an Iron Shell, can play off the charges, and the relocates very well.
Now if you're Richie Gaming, what position one? Basically Liquid, they need something pretty much active at the moment to play with. There's the Jug, there's the Wraith King. Some setups are there with the AA, but if you tri-lane, you don't have to really be thinking about that setup in the laning stage at least.
Yeah, I feel like they need another stun, almost certainly. But again, position one getting a stun is so difficult, right? The classic one was, of course, Void with the Chrono, but Void is bad and doesn't look very good here at all
Sven
with the
is banned
pairings.
out. Yeah. A good hero that used to be versus the Darkseer on the lane is AM, but we're not going to see it in this game. It's way too slow and coupled with TA.
That would be a very
Good,
dangerous
yeah.
AM game, but I actually could see,
Miracle.
Yeah, I could definitely see that right now. Because I can't see a Miracle Wraith King. Like, really, is that? I'd sooner see a Miracle Jug than I'd see the
Yeah,
Wraith King.
I think Jug is a valid option for them.
I feel like it's one of these drafts I look at and I say, like, they're going to pick Jug and lose. That's, you know what I mean? It's like you see the hero coming and you understand why they pick it, and you still just don't think it looks that great.
The other hero, I think he's played maybe once or twice from, is the Slark. Could be, if you tri-lane the Slark and give him some farm, it could be
The
hard
Jug
to deal
banned
with.
out, so we won't see the Jug, that's certain.
Yeah. Yeah, Slark is definitely one of those better, like, game winner kind of heroes.
I mean, you do have the setup for AA with Slark. That leash is pretty good for the cold
Yeah.
feet, so... wow, Vici with the Monkey King. All right.
That's an active hero. That
That's
plays
a very
around.
active hero.
Good with the Iron Shell, good with the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah.
Sets up relocates as well his own way, kind of, right? We talked about the Mars, but it's sort of similar, the ulti.
It lanes pretty...
All right, we'll ignore the numbers. Don't look in the middle of the screen if you're a Vici fan.
Stats lie.
Yeah, stats, they lie all the
I
time.
mean, there's a reason why we haven't seen this Monkey King for a long time, and that's because he hasn't performed really well as a hero. Anyone that plays it pretty much loses. You might win the lane, you might not, but it kind of backfires and falls off. At the same time, only thing you have to do is play with these two, Darkseer and Baraturm, and create enough space. And there we go.
Yeah, you just
right.
know it. It's miracle, right? It's like he needs it. He's like, I can do it.
They'll probably have to trial in the AM, but if he gets free farm, that's how you win this game.
Yep.
But I agree to some extent, but at the same time, if you trial in the AM and you win that lane, your Centaur and Tia are going to suffer a lot, and they are your keys to winning the mid game and actually surviving through it. So if this AM is going to start split pushing in the mid game, they first need to.
Noticeably, they let the Darkseer go through, even though they first did the TA, just like they did in the previous series, because they wanted to respect ban Yang's Mars, which is just unquestionably probably the best Mars in Dota right now. However, you're playing against Darkseer now, but then they have the AM last pick to deal with it, so it'll be really cool to see how it plays out.
Do you feel like this is a good AM game as well for Miracle? We've seen the question marks arrive from the panel around this. Okay, my control. Pick up your stacks. Don't see any Observer Ward.
It's cool. That's a perfect example of all the little efficiencies that have now become commonplace in this 10th year of Dota 2, 9th year of Dota 2.
Well, 8th year.
It's TI9.
We go TI9, so 1 to 9.
Sure.
Unless we had TIO. Doesn't quite reach that point.
Well, point is,
you could say 16 years of Dota if you want to go back to Warcraft 3, depending how far you want to date back to its inception.
Yeah. And it looks like Liquid's going to try and play a bit of a slower pace game. Obvious when they have the AM, AA combination. Vici, they can play so quickly around the map thanks to the Darkseer Spirit Breaker, the Wisp Reload, and then the Monkey King.